Hi guys, Chuck here back in Planetbase. Been a couple days since I visited this, but here we are and things are moving along. We've built a pyramid. So we're either Egypt or Memphis, whatever strikes your fancy. So, little monument to egocentrism or hubris or whatever you want to say. It has no practical purpose whatsoever, except gets us a little farther along. And toward our goals here. Now we have the old sandstorm hitting, but like I said, this particular planet, we don't have to worry as much about that as, like we can put an alert here if we want, but it doesn't, these sandstorms don't really affect people. When you get to the other planets, whatever different planets have different things that can hit, and so some of them you really want to take it seriously. Like as soon as you see the warning, get your people inside right away. Like put the alert out and get them in. But on this planet, it's not quite as much of a deal. Now down here we've had our water collector get built. And we have another water tank that's only one metal away from getting built, and we've got two metal in the inventory, so that will no doubt make it over there pretty soon. So then we're gonna have we keep running out of spares and medical supplies. So let's check the other food dome. Well, let's do what I've been doing lately and hit the show tops button so we can look in all the domes. And let's see if we got room for any other. Yes, we do. We have room for one more medicinal plant in there, and that is it. So probably gonna slap another food dome down at some point, because if you look, we kind of got three of them and they're pretty much full. And what do we have going down here? It's another food dome in the process. So we've already got that placed. It's just a matter of waiting for them to generate enough metal to build it. And let's see what we have here. We got a trading ship with just medical stuff. And we really, we're not going to trade for more of that, because they're going for 25 each, and it's going for 37 with the guy's markup. So we'll just dismiss him. We've built another medicinal pad, so that should take up the slack. Now what we could build is, what have we? That's our control center. I'm looking for, we only got one dude here making medical supplies. So probably another lab would possibly be in order. And I could put a couple more guys making medical supplies, and maybe even some more meat. So I think let's look at, all right, we still need 7 metal to finish that construction. We got our water tank built, and you can see it's already storing water. So let's check our grid really quick. Now, water, we are ahead of the game a little bit now. We're still probably going to want to add more, because we're only closing in on 100 colonists, and we're trying to grow this another 3 times. So you can get an idea how big things are going to get. We can fill an armed intruder 2 of them. Let's see if our security people take care of them. A little bit of a fight going on. Oh, we killed the intruders, but we lost one guy. Oh, that's a little bit of a shame, but all right. Run out of spares. I think we're okay on the power grid for a little while, but let's check that. All right, power is sufficient, but nowhere near what it's going to need to be eventually. So we're going to keep, we got all this flat ground out here that we can expand, and we can even link to get across the terrain to get over into that area. And we need only 5 more metal to go on that. Need to get that biodome built. And then we're going to focus on just increasing everything that we have. In other words, add more power, add more water, more power, more water, and keep going. Because, you know, we keep running out of spares, so we're going to need, obviously, to get more metal production going. Now, however that plays out, but I think we're going to have to get more robots going. And see what this trader has. What do we have to trade? Nothing much. I can't really part with any of that. Maybe some of the bioplastic, but not too much, because we're going to build more, we're going to put more plants in that new dome when it gets built. And those are going to take bioplastic, so we can't really, we got to build up some surplus stuff before we can start trading. Now let's check this dome. We still got 5 metal. Got 2 there, so we are starting to produce metal a little faster, but still not nearly fast enough. And we go down here to the bot workshops, and they're currently not really producing bots either. Let's get this on a priority so they'll get it built quicker. And then we might have to, you know, so many extra things we need to build in order to stay ahead of the game, especially since we got more people entering the settlement now. We're up to 97. Let's check our energy storage. We've hit night, and all these are full, so we should be good there. But we're constantly running out of spares. So that tells me we need, I don't even remember what that building's called. That's pretty sad. But we need to build another one with the spares workshops in there. That is this one here. That is the factory. So we're going to need to put another factory down where I need to put another processing plant, at least another factory and another processing plant. And we need to get this biodome built, get more food growing. We're getting close on that. So maybe I could go ahead and put the other stuff in the queue. So let's get, we also need a lab. Let's put the factory here for now. And what else did we say we were going to build? Now I just lost my train of thought. So it's not a biodome. We need another processing plant. And we'll lay both of those down. And we'll check this trader. Well, he's got stuff that we would like, but I don't really have enough to trade for any of it. Like, we wouldn't mind this farm dome patent, which would give us a bigger dome, and a colossal panel. I'd like, you know, either one of those right now. But you see, money, we've only got 20. So that's not going to do anything. I'd like to get some of that metal, but what am I going to trade for it? Maybe some bioplastic? See, metal going for 15, bioplastic going for 10. So I have to trade 5 bioplastic for 2 metal. I'll go ahead and do that, just because that'll, you know, help toward some of these things in the construction queue. But now let's see where we are here. We only need 2 metal left to get that dome going. Then I've got these 2 structures here, and we're going to need more metal to put the items inside there. All right, just all right. Do we have another ship coming? No, it's sometimes those I hear the sound. It's either the ship leaving, or it could be a meteorite, and the sound is kind of similar, and it throws me off sometimes. All right, we're gonna get that built. All right, looks like the biodome is getting constructed. If the constructor people ever get out here to actually finish it. Maybe, I think, we possibly need another airlock on this end of the building. So I'm going to put one right here, just to allow people to run out to get to some of the construction because we're going to be putting stuff all the way up and down here and way out here. So mostly up in that area though. So another airlock up on this end would help. Okay, biodome's been built. Now we're just waiting. We had a little power crisis there very briefly, and things seem to be okay now, but we'll need to keep a close eye on that. Let's go ahead and check the grid again. Let's see. Well, we're still way ahead. It's just every now and then it lags, you know, if the wind dies down or something like that. So I think, you know, as we expand, we're going to maybe split the difference between solar and wind for future power generation. Now let's see what the trader has. Well, nothing that I can really... Yeah, I still don't have enough. Yeah, not enough to mess with, so we'll dismiss him again. Now let's see if we can get something put in this biodome. We're going to put another medicinal. Maybe 2 more medicinal. And the rest we'll put some tomatoes, some lettuce, some onions, some radishes, some mushrooms, and maybe that for now. So give them some stuff to build there. I feel like I should just fill this with food and just we'll couple those genetically modified tomatoes. And more onions, more lettuce. Power storage is down again. Alright, we're starting to have issues again with power. Let's see if everything else is built that we've laid down. We're still, well, we got the factory built. We're still waiting on the processing plant, needing one more metal for that. So we can't put anything in the factory because that also takes metal. And now I think we're starting to have issues on the power grid. And it's just from lack of wind. You see that there's no wind going at all. So our turbines are not doing anything. So I think when we get some more metal, maybe another solar panel, and then obviously we get some wind going. Yeah, here it goes. Now we're going to start cranking the power out again. It's like you never have a lack of sunlight, except for at night. So we never have like an overcast day. But right, the new biodome is up and functional. So let's get this well, I'm still not seeing anything we really need to trade for up there. I'd like some of the money, but as you can see, we don't have much of a surplus in anything. So I'm still stuck without being able to trade, and we're still having serious power issues now. And I don't understand, because when we last looked at the grid, it looked like we were well ahead of need. You know, producing a lot more than we needed, but then we have a couple days where wind is bad. Now watch, we're going to get low on oxygen, low on power, and we might lose some people. That's one of the things I think this game just does to you. It just throws that at you just as a little slap in the face when you think, yeah, I'm going good. You know, you're going to congratulate yourself for having everything managed well, and then boom, we're just going to give you some days where the wind doesn't kick up, and you're going to start losing power and losing oxygen. So now the sun's up. We're gonna. You watch, this red's gonna start, you know, turning again as we get power back to all the structures. Now hopefully the wind keeps up and these power collectors fill up before the sun goes down. That's our main issue, is we need to get those full before sundown. I'll run out of spares, but at least there's power everywhere, and there's oxygen everywhere. So we look at the grid right now, it looks like we are well ahead of everything. And you know, water is ahead, power is good, water storage is good, oxygen we have plenty. We're going to need to generate more if we want to get to where we want to get to. But oxygen is fine. You know, the power grid looks good, but we've lost 2 colonists. So I know a meteorite just hit. Where did it hit? Is that what? Because it doesn't say they died of asphyxiation or starvation or anything like that. So I think some people got nailed. All right, need one more metal to finish that processing plant. Then we're going to get a couple more metal processors going immediately. And then we will get our factory making more spares. So what do we have out here? Are we going to get that other airlock being built? That's what it looks like to me. And this guy is bringing that down here probably to get our other processing plant built. All right. Power storage is low again. I'm thinking we're gonna need to start putting some more power collectors down, even though it looks like we have enough. You know, when we look at the grid, it looks great, but we're having, you know, too much time without wind, and that's causing shortages. So we have other construction pending, but actually that isn't really, it's already got all the materials allotted to it. So next thing we're going to put down here is another solar panel. Let's put a big one. Now, I think we have enough collectors to store enough power, you know, when we're generating it. We need to get that panel built. Now, this is built, so let's put a couple more metal processors in there. Actually, let's just go all metal processors in there. And it'll take them a while to build that because we've got metal allocated to different projects. Once we get that going, we have 4 mines. That doesn't mean we can't put another mine in. Because if you notice, we're not really getting, ore is not stockpiling at all. And frankly, neither is food. But we just built this other biodome. Let's go ahead and see if anything else can be added in there. More of these super tomatoes, a couple more of those. So we're never going to reach that 300 population just with the infrastructure that we have currently. Going to need to produce a lot more food. So I think our next tech goal is to buy that farm dome patent, because it's a much bigger dome. And we would have built to grow a lot of food in there. Now, we also, okay, we've got more tomato plants put in a new dome. Now let's go ahead and put in the factory a spares workshop, a semiconductor workshop. We want to raise more. Yeah, let's just fill that even up there. So now we got 8 pieces of metal needed for all that, 7 needed for the new solar panel. So we need a lot of metal cranking out. And we got another sandstorm coming. Let's bump speed up. And we still run out of spares. So I gotta wonder, we're closing on 100 people. If these 2 extra industries down here, once they get built, if they're gonna start producing right away, or is the labor gonna be kind of split? Are we gonna have to start prioritizing them in order to get more metal? Because ideally, we start producing enough metal to have a surplus to be able to start trading for money to get the other techs unlocked that we need. Like, look here, this large solar panel costs 580. We don't even can't come anywhere near that. So we got a couple spares built. Semiconductors are at least in construction. So is metal. So we're waiting on, and there's not much else we can do while we're waiting on all this metal to get produced. So I think what we will do is come back shortly when we have anything happening, like some more metal or something. So we will be right back. Okay, we are back. I had to take a little break to run to the facility, and in the meantime we've got a little more metal come in, and we got 3 of these get built, and really good news down here is our solar panel got built, although we're waiting on the metal for the connection, so that should help some of our power issues. Now, and this trade ship landed right before I resumed recording, and I traded for a little bit of money. So we had a surplus in medicinal plants. So I got a little bit of money. We have no bots left over now. So, but let's check what I'm wondering is on these milestones. Build or purchase 10 bots. I wonder if, like, you get a bot and it breaks down. I wonder if you have to have all 10 of them operational at one time, or are we going to get credit for the 2 or 3 we've already had? So the things left on the milestones: reach 100 population, acquire 10 techs, 10 robots, build a monolith, and reach 300 people. Some of these are going to be a way off. Like, we're not going to get that monolith for a little while. Yeah, unless, and it's a big unless, this, processor gets built down here. I mean, obviously it's built, but it gets up and running and starts producing, enough metal to start giving us, to get ahead of what our needs are. Then we'll be able to get that monolith built, because let's just take a look at that. We're talking 30 metal, 10 semiconductors, and 10 bioplastic. Now, we're not, at this rate, if we put that down, it would take forever at our current rate of production to get 30 pieces of metal to build it, unless we buy the metal from a trader just to get the thing built. So I think that's going to be one of the last, goals that we unlock for the, to beat the 100% this thing. So in the meantime, there's another trader. He has got some metal. So let's see. Wow, one piece of metal is costing 24. The best thing we have to sell down here is medical supplies at 25. We only got 3 of them, so I can't really unload that. I can get rid of some of the plants. We're starting to stockpile vegetables again, but every time I sell those, then it ends up biting us. We can't afford that yet. So let's see how much that metal would cost. 200. We could get rid of all our money. I don't think that would be too wise. We will get rid of, some medicinal plants. And maybe I can get 2 metal. So it's not a lot, but, 2 pieces of metal to go toward anything we have pending will help. We can get this connection completed, so we'll start getting more power getting stored. But as you can see, when the wind is blowing, we're good. And let's look at the grid. You know, power is ahead of need. We're producing more than we require. We're still, I think every time we get some extra metal, we can go ahead and just increase. We can still fit a lot of power structure down this way, and it looks like maybe if we can get through that gap there, then we got this area over here to build into. So I think we got enough space to expand the base wherever it needs to go. Now let's see where these extra 2 pieces of metal go toward. I think we need to prioritize. Well, we can't. We can prioritize this building. So maybe they'll come in here and get the stuff built quicker. Because you would think, at least to the logical part of my brain, that, you know, we're always up against it on metal needs. And so the people would think, hey, let's get this processor built quicker so we can start producing more. And then maybe we could get ahead of the game. That's what we're trying to do here. So I think after that gets done, I think another mine. Because we're never having ore in abundance. So I'm thinking we could build as many processors as we want, and if we don't have more ore, you can see we got a ton of bioplastic. So that means we're growing enough starch, and we're producing bioplastic faster than we can use it. So that's where we want to get on metal. So currently we're waiting on 1 piece of metal for that, 2 for the new mine, and 4 pieces for these, what do we call them, metal processors down here. And we have a trader. Yes, we do. What can we get from him? Well, he's got robots and he's got money. And we're starting to get some. So let's take all that money if we can. Don't know if we can get all of it. We'll trade some bioplastic, some medical plants, and we're there. All right. Now we got a little more money, and yeah, I mentioned before that that's how we get the money needed for those tech blueprints when the guy offers those. And we have to unlock quite a few more of them. I think we've only unlocked like 1 or 2. So that's one of the goals for completion. All right, here we go. Another metal processor. Did we get this connection built down here? No. They need to get that, and maybe that's what this guy's bringing, or is he bringing a spare to do repairs? Yeah. We need to get this connection built because this solar panel isn't going to do us a darn bit of good if it's not connected to anything. So I wonder if you can prioritize that. No. Well, we can't. So we just have to wait for common sense to prevail and people to take a piece of metal out there to build that thing. Like they just brought one in here and built a processor but didn't build a connection for the power storage. And now we got 24 structures out of power and we're low on oxygen because nobody thought, hey, let's connect the power grid. But then maybe I shouldn't have requested this to have been built before the power grid was built. But I guess I keep assuming that these little people running around in here are going to have the sense to think, you know, through their situation and properly prioritize things. So That's what I get for thinking. Now the wind is kicked up. The sun is out, but the day is halfway through. And I don't know if the wind is going to store up enough power before dark hits. And as you can see, the wind is dying down. So we might be in a little bit of a bind here. Although I think we're getting ahead of the game on vegetables now. So the next trade ship, we're going to trade for some metal pieces and try to get everything built. You know what? That's probably my fault. I put that on a priority. So I'm blaming the people for not prioritizing things properly when I'm giving them the wrong priorities. Now we are going to be really up the creek the next night time because look, we are out of power and now night is hitting and we can't get any wind. So we need the wind to keep blowing or we won't make it till daylight without losing some people. So that gives you an idea of how things... Now here's a trader. Does he have any metal? No, he doesn't. But he has the farm dome patent, which we can't afford. So forget about that for now. And let's go after more money. Because I really want some metal pieces to try to... I'm not sure if we've even... Trade some of that. Some of these medicinal plants. And... there we go. Well, we got some more money, so the next time somebody comes around with a patent, we might be able to buy it. And we need that wind to keep blowing, because it's catching us up on the power a little bit. And we're almost at daylight, and now the wind dies down. Come on, wind. Oxygen consumption exceeds production. Yeah, because the power's not, you know... Because look, we need spares to fix these. We need one piece of metal to get that thing up and going. And they haven't come out here and brought a piece of metal out there to get it going. So now it's daylight. Let's hope we can get that solar panel operational before the sun goes down, because the wind is not being reliable here. And like I said, I think that's something the devs put in the game to test you when you get later, because early game you just don't have... You can throw up a turbine and you're constantly getting power, and then late we always have these variations in the wind. And of course, at that point, you built a lot more things. All right, that's actually what we needed, because that sandstorm's going to kick the wind up, and we might start making some headway on power here for a bit. Now, there's a piece of metal they need to get out there and get that solar panel up and working. Get that connection built, and there's no way to prioritize that. I wish there was. You need to be able to prioritize construction on things like that. I got... All right, finally. We have the metal out here. Now we just need to get somebody out there to build it. So that's gonna happen here shortly. So that should get us back. Oh, come on, wind. Still got a little ways till daylight, and the wind is dying. So hopefully we get an engineer out here to get this thing built. There we go. Now that we're almost to daylight, we got an extra solar panel out here cranking. And structure's out of power an awful lot. And now the sun's coming up. So let's go. Let's get the power going. We are got a lot low on oxygen. Feel like the game is laughing at me right now. Say, yeah, you built all these turbines, now I'm going to take your wind away. Everything, we got stuff low on oxygen. We got this extra panel built. This panel here isn't doing so good. It needs to be repaired, although it's still generating power, but it's going to break down pretty soon if they don't get that fixed. So, is that a ship landing? And is a trading ship? And does he have metal? Yes, he does, and we're going to take it. Unless we want a massive storage patent, but I think we're going to take the metal and see how much. 168. And it's not giving us a whole lot to trade for. And we'll throw a little bit of money there, although I hate to part with it. Alright. So we got some more metal. That should... And hopefully, if the wind can stay blowing, like we're currently... If you look at the grid right now, it looks like we're ahead, you know, and comfortably ahead. But then if night falls and the wind dies, you lose that comfort zone really fast. You don't have any wiggle room. So that's what I'm hoping is with this new panel. And then at some point, these things should get built. We should start producing more metal, because we're still waiting on this mine. So there's 2 pieces to get that built. We have 3 more pieces needed down here. And that should, you know, get us to a level of stability. If we can get enough metal being produced to be able to start building more power generating structures down this way. Because obviously we can't rely on all these turbines to be giving us enough on a consistent basis. So we're going to need more turbines, more panels, more power collectors. And that's an awful lot of metal. So that's why we need, you know, these things to get built, to get producing. So that's really where we are right now. The mine just got built, and we're right on the edge. We're teetering right on the edge of being able to be a little more stable. But if we can get a couple more power generating structures built, and maybe another oxygen generator, then that will get us to a comfort zone. Because right now we're generating like plenty of oxygen for the amount of people we have. The power grid is generally ahead, but all it takes is a little hiccup where a period of, you know, not enough wind, and, you know, we're losing out. And we just dodged a bullet there with that meteorite, just missing. So we got another metal processor has been built. The mine has been built. So we have another mine. We're going to start bringing in more ore. We got more processors that are going to go online. That should increase our metal production, allow us to at least keep ahead with the spares. Because look down here, there's a lot of things that are needing maintenance. That still needs to be repaired. That's going to need to be repaired. And now we've hit nighttime. All the metal processors are up and running. Now all we need to do is wait on more metal to be able to start building more material. So let's take a look at the trade ship really quick. Not much. And we can't really, we don't have enough stuff to trade for any of that money. So we will dismiss him for now. And we are probably going to sign off for now. And maybe I'll let this run for a while and just try to accumulate some metal off camera. But we're going to call it a day. When we come back, we're going to make the push toward 100 and maybe get another tech unlocked and possibly kind of push towards some more of those milestones. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something from it. Maybe you've learned how to manage your own colony better than I've been doing this one. And so if you did enjoy this, if you leave me a like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. And I will see you next time.